Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special episode of the Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar Podcast. I'm your host, Jacob Elyachar, the chief content producer and writer of jakestake.com, a pop culture entertainment news website. Now, before we get this party underway, please like and subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube, and if you're listening to on any of our audio platforms, please give it a 5-star rating and please subscribe as well. It is the second anniversary of the Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar Podcast, and I wanted to go back to the person that started it all. Please welcome a man that needs no introduction, one of my favorite people when it comes to podcasters and one of my role models when it comes to podcasting. Please help me welcome Brent Wolgamott back to the show.
Oh, and the crowd went wild for Brent. Oh, thank you. Hold all the applause. Yes. Thank you, Jake. That is quite the introduction. I really appreciate that. I enjoyed the first time that I had a chance to talk with you, and I was very honored when you asked me to come back and have a chat with you for your anniversary.
Thank you so much, Brent. This podcast would not have been the same without you. This was a pilot. Brent was the very first pilot, test subject A, and now 4,000 total downloads later, and with listeners from almost 82 countries this year alone.
That's great.
Thank you so much for all of your support and listening. I really appreciate it, Brent. I wouldn't be here without you. So thank you so much.
You are quite welcome. You're a good guy, Jake, and anything I can do to get people to listen to you is a good thing.
All right, so Brent, it's been 2 years since we last spoke. So how have you grown as a podcaster?
How have I grown as a podcaster? Let's see how to answer that. Just full disclosure, you sent me some of these questions ahead of time. I thought about them, but some of them, I wasn't sure. Sometimes I feel like, I need to answer it in the moment. I really need to answer off the cuff and give an authentic response. How have I grown as a podcaster? I do think that I don't get as worked up as I used to about stuff. I can still get into a tizzy. I can still rant. I remember through the middle part of Big Brother 23, I was not very happy with some people, specifically Claire and her inept play and what she was doing that week when she got the Coin of Destiny. But still, I think in general, I have been able to keep my temper under wraps for the most part. I have learned that social media, but here's the thing. Let me back up. I have learned the power that I have with social media. I think that it's weird sometimes when you come from nothing and, you start with, 3 Twitter followers. And when you slowly grind your way up to 16,000 and change, you sometimes don't notice the changes along the way and the power that your platform possesses. So when you say something and speak it out into the universe, it has a different ring during, Big Brother 23 than it had during, Big Brother 17 and 600 people were following me. There's just an innate difference. So I think I've had to be a little bit more responsible with what I have said on social media. Anything that I put out there, I know I'm going to get blowback from, especially if I deliver some sort of hot take or something. And I have to be able to take the consequences for that. So I own that, and I understand that.
And I believe in God, you gave one of the best hot takes I have, and anywhere in reality TV, one of the best.
Well, thank you. Do you anything in particular that you want to share? Do you remember any of my particular hot takes that just made you LOL or roll off the screen, or is it just my general?
Your general, my friend.
Yes.
Because the thing is, I realized as well that Big Brother has been like a drug for me. It is almost like a drug. It's almost was like a drug for that. I had to get out of it because America's Got Talent, on the other hand, has been like my true passion, and Big Brother has been like an ex-lover. That has been like an ex-lover. So okay. I was quiet this season.
Okay, cool. I was not quiet this season. I definitely had some things to say, but we can get into it because I know we're going to talk about Big Brother 23 is going to come up and the history making aspect of that show that it was and everything great that happened in the middle of that. So yes, we can talk. We can talk about anything.
All right. Let's get started because the last time we spoke, we finished Big Brother 21, which was a basket case.
Yes, it was.
And then we got Big Brother 22, which really destroyed Twitter. And now we have Big Brother 23 that actually was groundbreaking, as you said. So in your humble opinion, what were some of the similarities and differences between Big Brother 22 and Big Brother 23, even though they're on Big Brother?
Well, I think, even though this was a history-making season in Big Brother 23, I think anybody can fairly acknowledge that in many ways, it was no different than any other season. It was a steamroll to the end by the major power broker alliance in the house that nobody else had a fucking clue was there. I mean, that's exactly what happened in All Stars. People didn't understand who was working together in the committee. They steamrolled to the end. Eventually, some people started playing self-serving and started playing for themselves and took out some people that they needed to take out. Tyler obviously fell by the wayside earlier than, I think he probably expected to. And then Cody ended up winning in a landslide, in a unanimous vote. And then you fast forward to this season, and you have a major alliance nobody knows of, steamrolls along the way. Some people started playing a little more self-interestedly than other people. Xavier, I feel like, started playing more self-interestedly. I know they said Tiffany did, but I don't really feel like she did. I feel like she was trying to play self-interestedly within the confines of the Cookout, which to me was totally acceptable. And it should have been acceptable to the men at the Cookout. And I think they've now realized that because they've been backtracking on social media ever since they realized how all the blowback that they were getting on Twitter. But like I said, in many ways, it wasn't any different than any other season. You have an alliance that nobody knows of, that nobody thinks is there, that goes all the way to the end. The difference with this season was twofold. Obviously, it was an alliance that produced the first Black winner in Big Brother history, in Big Brother proper history. I'm not talking about Celebrity Big Brother, obviously Big Brother USA. In 23 seasons, never had a Black winner, finally had one. And that's great because there's been a lot of historical racism that the show has shown us and we've had to live through. So that is something that we can celebrate. And obviously the fact that the final 6 were all Black African Americans, that's a redundant term. Sorry, I don't mean to say it like that. African Americans who made it to the end of the show, all working together for the common good of the cause. That is something we have never seen before because every other alliance in the history of Big Brother has always been about, well, yeah, I'm working together with this alliance, but it's about me at the end of the day. But this was the first alliance of 6 people that I saw that, for better, for worse, there were a few hiccups along the way, maybe at 8 and 7. I think Xavier was talking about getting rid of Tiffany before Alyssa, but, fortunately, he never got a chance to do that. I feel like that most of the time, most of the people got it right for their cause. Now, would I have done that? No, but you know what? I'm a person of privilege. I'm a white man, so I don't get a chance to say anything about that. They decided that that's what they want to do. And they want to get the 6 of them to the end to produce the first Black winner of Big Brother. And they fucking did it. And that is amazing. It was heartbreaking for those of us on the outside because we could see where the train was going, that if they followed this way of working for the cause and the mission, that Tiffany and Hannah were probably going to get the short shrift and that Xavier was probably going to run it to the end. And finally, I think at the final 8, we were like, when Alyssa won the veto at the final 8 and Tiffany had to put Claire up, that's where I saw the tweets of like, wow, so Xavier's really going to win this thing, huh? And sure enough, he did. He did it.
And good for him. Good for him. Good for him. All I gotta say about that is good for him. So now now that the Big Brother 23 cast have been out of the house for a while and are back on social media, which, by the way, I think they did a great job with Big Brother 23.5, thanks to Todrick Hall.
I'm sorry, you faded up for just a second. Repeat what you just said. I mean, I heard the part about they're out of the house, but the last thing you said I didn't hear.
Okay, so basically what I said, everybody, just for clarification, they just got out of, it's been weeks since they've been out of the house.
Yes.
And they actually had Big Brother 23.5 sponsored by Todrick Hall.
Yes, that's what I thought you said. Okay, yes. So this has been like crazy. I've never seen anything like it. I think social media was not ready for it. We didn't know it was going to happen. Todrick Hall, for those of you who watch RuPaul's Drag Race, he's been a mainstay on RuPaul's Drag Race for many years. He's a big fan of Big Brother. I didn't know that, but he apparently is. And he decided that he was going to invite the members of the Cookout over to his house. And he has a glorious house in the middle of Hollywood Hills somewhere. I don't know. And have a grand old time. And so they stayed there. And then when Todrick had to go, they still stayed there. And I think some of them may still be there. I don't know. It's like a month since the end of Big Brother, and they may still be there. And you know what? God bless them. It's nice work if you can get it. If you can stay in that amazing house and not have to worry about anything on the face of the earth, you've earned it. Anybody who's on that freaking show, you've earned it. So I think it's been an incredible time for those of us on social media. I don't think we've ever seen anything like it. We've never had this much fun postseason. And also, I think that we've never had this much fun postseason because the people on the show are such fans. They wanted to go and see the episodes. They all watched the episodes. Some of them watched them together. They wanted to see what was being said about them in, through the diary rooms, and they really got the tea for what other people were having something to say about them. I think that early on, Tiffany and Hannah were very pro Kyland. And then as kind of time moved on, I think that, some stuff was said behind the scenes. Now, publicly, they were always very, like, we're good, don't worry about it. But, I could tell the demeanor changed a little bit. And Kyland started, throwing himself on the sword and saying, well, if anyone had anything negative to say about the black women in the house doing anything or that they weren't worthy, obviously they were wrong. And I'm like, honey, the only person who said that was you. So you need to own your shit. That's, by the way, Kyland is going to Kyland. He's the only person in the history of the show I know of that could literally make a heartfelt apology about someone as beloved as Tiffany and still get the fans pissed off at him. And he managed to do that. Only Kyland could do that because Kyland complains and that's what he does. But anyway, I digress. The point being that it's been a fun postseason. And I think that most people have handled it really well. Tiffany has been great. She actually did have something to say about the fact that Xavier and Big D, who's been abysmal, by the way, and Kyland, that she knows that they had some stuff to say about her in the house, that she wasn't deserving as the first black winner, that she wasn't worthy as the first black winner, that she was playing selfishly. She said this on Jessica Milagros' show from Big Brother 21, that if she wasn't voted America's favorite player, that she doesn't think that they would be as glowing in their ringing endorsement of Tiffany as they now are. She thinks it would, if they got out of the house and, Derek X won America's favorite player and Tiffany was just one of the many who didn't get mentioned, that she thinks that they would still be thinking of her as unworthy and undeserving and, that she played selfishly and all this other crap that we heard about Tiffany, that it's only because America loves her that they're suddenly changing their opinions of her and are apologizing to her and owning their shit about her. But even, like I said, most of them have owned their shit. I feel like Xavier has done a really good job. Big D and Kyland, on the other hand, Big D Big D gets a failing grade, F. Kyland gets a C grade. Like, it's pretty bad, but he tried. Let's give him a C grade.
Yeah, making the effort too. As for the former, I don't think he'll never do that. But I know this would be a worst nightmare for people, for villains. But if they did Big Brother 15 through 20, whatever, for the guys, for the villains, I think it'd be fun, hysterical for a Kyland, a Frankie,
I'm all for it.
I want those four together.
Kyland is the kind of person who just makes you tear your hair out and you're infuriated, and he's competitive and he's really good at the competitions. He's the perfect kind of person to bring back to Big Brother. I would he's sort of, well, no, not really. I was going to compare him to Rachel Riley because she was kind of a villain in her season and she came back as a hero. He is the kind of person who could come back in another season, playing by himself, being an underdog, irritating people, but he has a certain way about him, a certain, way he does things. Maybe he could get the fans back on his side, but he's so haughty and so into himself that I just don't know if he could ever see outside of himself to let people in and be really, truly vulnerable. I just don't think he could.
That's why I said they'd be perfect with Paulie and Frankie.
Yeah, I know. I think a villain season would be very fun, but I think they would probably do like heroes and villains or something.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
But I like a villain. All villains would be very fun.
Yeah, I like, bring me Frankie. Bring me Christy back. Bring me Kate.
Yes, Christy. Yes.
Bring me some Pete and bring me Tiffany back. Or, oh, by the way, if they throw a celebrity in there, villain, Omarosa. Bring me Lady O.
She was fabulous. I just watched her HOH win a couple weeks ago from the double eviction in Celebrity Big Brother 1, where she was going to be evicted, and then she won HOH, and then she put up Ross and Melissa, and it was glorious. Of course, Ross won the veto, and then Chuck went home. But whatever. Who went home? It was somebody different. Whatever. Somebody else went home. Doesn't matter. I can't remember. Don't bother me. Mark McGrath. That's what it was. Mark McGrath, yes.
Okay, perfect. Speaking of Celebrity Big Brother, I am thrilled. I am thrilled about Celebrity Big Brother coming back this winter. So, who do you hope that the producers bring on board to join the cast?
Well, I think we're always hoping for New York. We want Tiffany
Tiffany
Pollard.
Pollard, yeah.
Yes. We want her to be on Big Brother because she would be amazing. We've seen her on like other reality shows before. I think she was on like Celebrity or Big Brother UK or something like that. We want her to be on this version of Big Brother. I also, and you know, the timing is right for it in the year 2021. I really hope they bring a drag queen or two from RuPaul's Drag Race. I actually don't feel like that's out of the question. I do feel like there is a chance, like Jada Essence Hall, or I was going to say Bianca Del Rio, but she's got her own show. I'm actually going to see Bianca Del Rio this Saturday, by the way.
Oh, awesome!
For her unsanitized tour. But yes, somebody like Jada. Or one of the other amazing queens on the show would just be wonderful to have on Celebrity Big Brother, because they have enough clout social media wise where it would definitely be a celebrity, but it would definitely be a step forward for the show in terms of having, you know, either a drag contestant, or they could even go further and have somebody like Peppermint, like a trans contestant on Big Brother. They've only had one trans contestant in the history of Big Brother, Audrey Middleton, and it would be fantastic if they had another and didn't just tokenize her.
I agree. I was thinking because I think this would be perfect to capitalize, because people who've been related or know or have dated or have had history with past people, like I'm looking at Cara Maria Sorbello, Pauly Calafiori's Fort Love, and Cody and potential sister-in-law to Cody Calafiori, and then you also have Johnny Bananas, Morgan Willett's ex-lover.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and I think the last time I podcasted about this and somebody said something about Bananas, I said something about him dating Morgan Willett, and they're like, "Oh, they broke up," and I'm like, "Oh, did I miss that?" Like somehow I totally missed it. Like I was like, "Well, you know what? They're both gorgeous people." I think Bananas has always been my crush. By the way, I love Bananas. He's a dick. He's definitely a douche, but he's my kind of douche. I love him. I think he's fantastic. I've always had a thing for him, and of course Morgan is gorgeous. I've rallied for Morgan ever since the days of Big Brother OTT, when she won in a very close vote over Jason Roy. So I love both those people, and I wish them all the best.
Same here. I really was like sad that Morgan wasn't brought back for All Stars too, because she would have been fantastic.
Yeah, I think they just want to forget about BBOTT. But you know what? The casting director for BBOTT, Jesse Tenenbaum, is now casting for Big Brother proper. So maybe one day, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I was also thinking some idol people like David Archuleta, Melinda Doolittle. Those those people would probably be really great for them.
Yeah. Yeah. David Archuleta recently came out, actually. It was, I think, about like 3 months ago, something like that. Of course, you know, he's one of those people, like, you know, I hear like, oh, David Archuleta came out, and I'm like, okay, we've been new, you know, kind of thing. But, you know, I mean, that's a shady thing to say. The really proper thing to say is like, you know what? Good for you. You came out in your own time, and he did. So there you go.
And I was also thinking Clay Aiken as well, because I think he came so close on Celebrity Apprentice. So I think it'd be great to him.
And Idol.
There.
Yeah, he got second place on Idol
too.
Yeah.
I would love to see him be a cutthroat on this show. And then also another person that popped up into my mind, Lisa Rinna.
Lisa Rinna would be fantastic. Yes, I love her.
And she started with Dancing with the Stars too.
Yes.
Because of dancing, it's where we got her to Real Housewives.
I love her on Housewives. There's some, I can't remember. I was like 6 months ago, one of my friends, I don't watch Housewives very much, but a friend of mine showed me a clip, and I was like, oh, like I knew one person. It was Lisa Rinna. That's the only person I knew. And she's always great. She knows how to bring good TV. So that would be fun. And
I was thinking if they want a legend in Dionne Warwick, because the thing is with Dionne,
she's a little old. Yes, but go ahead. Sorry.
Same with George Takei, because the thing is this is why I don't like a Big Brother. They don't have a lot of older contestants. Like the last one I remember was Chicken George and Rennie.
Yes, I know, but Jake, there's a difference between, you know, older and old. I feel like Dionne Warwick is old, whereas like, you know, I'm older because I'm 46. So like they could put me on the show.
You are not 46. You are not 46.
Yeah, I'm 46. Yeah.
I always thought you were 36.
No, I'm 46. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
All right. So we do have our high hopes. I'm keeping my cross for Celebrity Big Brother.
Yes.
All right, so 2022 also marks another big milestone for Big Brother because Big Brother Canada is celebrating its 10th anniversary. So, how has the American Big Brother audience embraced the Canadian spinoff, in your opinion?
I mean, not only did we embrace it, I feel like we saved it, if I'm being totally honest. I mean, I remember when Big Brother 5 happened. It was a fantastic season, fans versus favorites, basically. Ika and Dimitris ran that season. Kevin obviously took the win at the end, but it was the best season ever. I've never had so much fun on a season of Big Brother than I had on Big Brother Canada 5. And then they canceled it, and they said it was on hiatus. And then you know what happened? Rob Cesternino, my old boss, put together a petition that had fans sign, and it was because of the outcry of all of the fans, yes, in Canada, but primarily North America, that really got the volume up, because that's where Rob's based, to say, you know what? This show is amazing. We love this show. We support this show. Bring this show back. It was because of Rob as a podcast that Big Brother Canada even came back. I'm sorry, it's true. It really is. That is the reason that Big Brother Canada came back. Anybody that has a job, Big Brother Canada owes if they work there from season 6 on, owes their lives and their livelihood, I should say, to Rob Cesternino and company at RHAP, because it honestly, without them, I don't think there would have been a Big Brother Canada 6, and there sure as hell wouldn't be a Big Brother Canada 10, which they are currently casting for, and we are approaching, and I can't wait to see what they do. I think that the North American audience has, especially the USA audience, has really embraced Big Brother Canada because it's pretty accessible, even though that you're not technically allowed to watch it. As somebody who's in the USA, there are ways. If you're a fan of the show, you know how to watch Big Brother Canada and the live feeds. And I obviously have covered it for many years and enjoy it very much. The thing about Big Brother Canada going into season 10 is you wonder is, like, are they going to do another sort of like total all-stars? Maybe a mixed all-star season. You don't know what it's going to look like for season 10. I don't mind what they do. If they bring back all new people, that's fine. But if they bring back, 16 amazing house guests from the history of all 9 seasons of Big Brother for a fantastic season 10, that would also be amazing, because the last All-Stars, obviously Big Brother 22, was terrible. And I'm looking for an all-star season to sort of wash my mouth out. So I would love to see people like, Adam from the Pretty Boys and Kayla, even though I think she just had a baby, but Kayla from season 6. And, I think Ika and Dimitris, I don't think they would do it, but you never know. Maybe one of them would. There's just so many people to pull from. I think even Netta coming back for a 3rd season would be very interesting, because she had the highs and lows. She loved her 1st season, then hated her 2nd season. I would love to see what happened in a 3rd season. I think that she could definitely win the fans back and make a run at things now that she isn't seen as such a massive threat in the game. So, a season 10 of Big Brother Canada is just a bounty of a bounty of good for North American viewers to partake of, and I'm so excited that it's happening, and I can't wait to watch it with all of you.
Awesome, I definitely think so. I just hope that if they do a big one of my seasons I remember the most is Big Brother 20, because the way that they incorporated the alumni. I love seeing Rachel come in and
right
with their Pop 'em Smock 'em robot. I loved seeing the Nicole and Victor wedding thing. I love seeing that, and then having the surprise of Danny for the first time in ages,
right,
and Brittany for the first time in a long time. So that's what that's what I would love to see them do.
Yeah, that would be very cool. I will also, I do want to give credit, because the question was like, how has North American audiences, how have they affected, Big Brother Canada? But I feel like the real question that you need to pose is, how has Big Brother Canada affected North America in general? Because I feel like Big Brother Canada and their casting of a minimum 50% BIPOC cast is what caused the CBS affiliate of Big Brother USA to say, you know what, we're also going to have a goal of 50% Black, Indigenous, people of color for our shows as well here on reality TV. I really do feel like that the pressure from Big Brother Canada caused CBS to follow suit with their casting quotas. And that was honestly great to see. We love seeing that kind of diversity so that everybody has a chance. And I think that, between this last season of Big Brother Canada and this season of Big Brother USA, you see the benefits of that. I feel like going forward, now that that's more the norm, I don't feel like you're going to see another Cookout again. I really don't. I feel like you're going to see things that are a little bit more heteromogenous. I think that's the word, that where people of any background whatsoever may decide to work together based on if they like each other or not. That was the thing about the Cookout, that's the reason no one could peg them working together, because some of them just hated each other. So you're thinking these people can never work together. They're not in an alliance together, but of course they were, and they got it done. Yeah.
Awesome. So it was formally announced that BB24 is officially go for the summer of 2022. So what advice would you recommend for future house guests as they prepare for their audition tapes?
I mean, watch the fucking show. That's what I would say. It's amazing to me how many people come on this show, audition for this show, and haven't watched the show. I actually had a friend of mine who said, I haven't, I shouldn't say, I have a way that you could get on a reality show. You need to audition. And I'm like, I've never watched that show. I don't even like that show. I think I watched a half an episode of it and I kind of hated it. So I'm not going to go and audition for X show knowing that I haven't watched any of it. Why would you do that? I feel like you're just waiting to make an ass of yourself on national television and lose the opportunity yet. I'm going to guess they're going to keep the prize money where it is. So $750,000. That's a lot of money.
About damn time too.
Yeah. Right. Why didn't they just raise it to $1 million? What the hell?
Yes,
I don't
please.
understand.
That should have been also, in all honesty, that should have been for 2020. That should have been for 22. That's seriously $750,000 or $1 million. That should have been for 22.
Yeah.
Anyway, I digress. But however, the same way is I'm thinking what you remind me about people who haven't watched the show before. That reminded me of Sam Glitos from BB20.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's not just that. I think Derek X was he only watched 2 seasons of the show. And I really feel like, good for him that he watched 2 seasons, but you could tell how ill prepared he was coming into the show and how much catching up he had to do. And if he had known more about the show and what to look for, he may have had a better shot at playing the game and really making a run at it. But on the other hand, the Cookout was really formidable. I don't know if anybody could have broken through that.
Yeah, a lot of people said it reminded them about Paul Big Brother 18 as well.
Yeah, I think that's a good comparison. I think that they were both good at learning on the job, but invariably you're going to fall short when you're doing that.
Yeah, that's correct. Either a 2-time house guest or somebody that knows the game like the back of their heads.
Yeah.
All right. So recently, while we're on the subject about social media and longtime TV shows, another show that's with CBS is celebrating a big anniversary this year, and that is The Price is Right. So recently, a couple of weeks ago on social media, you released a clip on Twitter from your appearance on The Price is Right with Mr. Bob Barker himself. So why did you decide it was time to reveal the clip?
Well, I mean, you, Jake, may have been living under a rock, but I feel like everyone has known that I've been on The Price is Right for years. So here, this is the chain of events. My tape and my appearance on The Price is Right has been on YouTube for the past 15 years. I've talked about it on RHAP. We had a game show podcast on RHAP back when I was with RHAP, and we talked about my appearance on The Price is Right, this other girl's appearance on Millionaire or Jeopardy, I feel like. And then we've done other things. It's come up before, but it doesn't come up in natural conversation about Big Brother. So I feel like, if you missed those podcasts, maybe you just didn't hear the references along the way. And then Kyland, somebody started posting his appearance on The Price is Right, and he lost his pricing game. And of course, nobody's feeling Kyland at the moment. So I posted winning my pricing game when I was on The Price is Right. Now, granted, I had what I believe is a easier game to win with cliffhangers, and I think Kyland had double price tags, which is a 50-50 shot, basically. So, I mean, obviously, I had it easier, but I wasn't going to tell people that. I just posted the clip and I said, Kyland, bitch, this is how you do it. This is how you win a game. And then the response was unbelievable. And I was like, kind of like dumbfounded, like, you know, do you all not know that I was on The Price is Right? Apparently not. And I'm like, well,
I am sorry, my friend. I
Okay.
had to raise my hand and say, I'm sorry. When I saw that, I went, wow.
yeah, I was on The Price is Right when I got out of the military in 2002. Active duty, I should say. So when I got off of active duty, I wanted to take my parents out to California. We wanted to do some other things, see Hollywood Hills, go to Beverly Hills, go to Hollywood, blah, 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 do the Walk of Fame. But we also wanted to go to The Price is Right. We've always wanted to do that. And we went, and lo and behold, my crazy ass got picked to come up on stage because, I'm a nutcase. So they decided to have a good time with me. I was obviously a big fan of the show and told Bob what a big fan I was. Bob was very impressed. And the one thing I remember about Bob Barker at that time, because I think he was like 84 or something when I was on the show, and his face was very tight. But I remember shaking his hand when I got called when I made it up on stage. I shook his hand, and I just remember that it felt like an old man. It felt, his hands felt different than his face did. I'll put it that way. Which, of course, he's had work done on his face, but his hands not so much. It definitely felt like I was shaking the hand of an 84-year-old man.
Well, you, my friend, went on stage and met an American icon.
Here's the thing. Everybody has dreams of going on The Price is Right, winning a bunch of money or a new car or something. And that's great. And I, of course, would have loved to have done all of that. Once I got out of Contestants Row, and I got out of Contestants Row in the last fucking bid. That was the last chance. If I didn't win that bid, I would have been stuck in Contestants Row. And at the time, they've changed the rules since, but at the time, if you didn't get out of Contestants Row, it was like you were a contestant on the show. They still counted that. So I would never have been able to get onto The Price is Right ever again.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, like I said, since Drew Carey started, they've changed the rules. But at the time with Bob Barker, they said if you got called down to Contestants Row, you're on the show, even though you didn't make it up on stage. And so if you don't get out of Contestants Row, that's on you. So I had one chance to get out of Contestants Row after I initially got called to come on down. I did it. This lady bid $1. She thought she was the last contestant. I bid $2. I fucked her, got up on stage, got cliffhangers. I got to play for a dining room set and gold and platinum dinnerware, which served me well. I still have both. Actually, I'm moving right now. I think I told you I'm in the middle of a move. I'm doing a garage sale, and so I'm selling all of that stuff because I'm moving to a much smaller place. I'm keeping a lot of stuff, but I'm selling the gold and platinum dinnerware and the kitchen table and hutch or whatever that I won because I just don't have the room for it anymore. So it was a great experience, but like I said, like you said, meeting an American icon like Bob Barker was everything. I once I got on stage, I didn't care what happened anymore. I mean, I wanted to win the game just to make Bob happy. I didn't give a shit that I won, a dining room set and some china. You know what I mean? Like it was all about Bob. I just wanted to have fun with Bob and live out my dream of being on The Price is Right. And I got it. I won my game and it was a lot of fun.
Awesome. So we got to start writing down our conversation. So you have been in the podcast industry for several years now. So where do you see reality TV podcasting go next?
The sky's the limit, really. I mean, I feel like that people love podcasts. It's something easy to listen to, especially when you're in your car. A lot of people commute to their jobs. Obviously less now with COVID, but even during the day when you're kind of mulling about your house, everybody has AirPods, even though mine are currently charging, which is why I'm using these wire ones. But people love to listen to their podcasts. A lot of people I know listen to them on double speed. I cannot listen to podcasts on double speed. I think the most I can do is like a speed and a half, but even that is pushing it. I normally just listen to the regular speed because I just like to enjoy my time with my podcast. I know people that will go through every podcast in their phone that they are currently subscribed to. I just kind of pick and choose the ones that I want to listen to. That's kind of how I am. So I think that the sky's the limit when it comes to podcasting. And the old adage is that it's harder to keep a podcast going than it is to start a podcast, because anybody can start a podcast, but it's really hard to keep it going. A lot of people have encouraged me to start my own podcast. Obviously, I stopped working for RHAP earlier this year, and a lot of people reached out to me and were like, you should really start your own podcast. I would listen to you. And I'm like, thank you. I have no doubt that you would listen to me, but it's hard to start a podcast. I give Sesternino and anybody else who's a main podcaster all of the credit in the world, because starting a podcast from the ground up is a really tough endeavor. You have to put out content a lot. You have to live it as your life. I never said I wanted to do that, Jake. I said I wanted to podcast for fun. I like talking and spouting off my opinion, and I feel like that some people get a kick out of it. So that's why I do it. But I don't want to do it for a job. That would require more of my mental fortitude than I'm willing to give to the hobby as it is right now. It would go from being my hobby to my job. And even though I like to think I'm pretty good at it, but I do think that my enthusiasm would suffer, and thus the podcast would suffer. And so I'm very happy where I am at Reality NSFW right now, where I get to podcast whenever I want. And when I don't want to, I don't have to podcast. I get to podcast about the shows that I like and nothing further. And that's the way I like to podcast.
I'm glad to hear that, because the thing is, I've been actually finding my way around with the 2-year mark. I never thought I would make it to the 2-year mark, in all honesty.
Yeah, sorry, I was taking a drink. Yes, I mean, all credit to you for keeping this going, because it's like I said, it's so easy to start a podcast. You say, oh, I have a great idea. I have this guest. But to keep it going, month after month, year after year, put out content that people want to listen to, get people to be loyal to you, to listen to your stuff, to not repeat yourself. It's difficult. It's really hard. And I do feel like if I was podcasting 7-8 times a week with, a bunch of different shows or whatever, I feel like I'd start to repeat myself. I mean, I'm only one man. So I feel like that. And I have also determined a long time ago that I feel like I'm better in small doses on podcasts. I feel like people like to listen to me. Some people love to listen to me, but I feel like if they listen to me all the time, that they'd get really tired of it, because I'm kind of loud. And, I certainly have a certain way that I podcast that polarizes some people.
But that's what makes you unique, my friend. And that's why people have an opinion of you, because the thing is the way that you stand out from amongst the crowd.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're so welcome, my friend. So if you had the opportunity to meet with aspiring podcasters who want to enter our industry, besides doing the podcast and keep on going, what other advice would you share with them?
I think that you have to have a passion for the craft. That's the thing that I see in the podcasters that are successful. They absolutely love what they do. They would not want to be doing anything else. It's what they live and breathe. They absolutely love it. If you are doing a podcast for a quick buck, or to get some fame, or to get noticed, or to get your opinion out there, honey, hang it up. It ain't going to work. The fans are going to sniff it out. You're not going to be successful. It's going to be like you're going to fall flat on your face. Because I feel like that the people that are successful because the fans come back to them time and time again. You want people to be loyal to you, to know that, hey, after every episode, you're there. People know that after every episode of Big Brother, I'm there with Bobby on Wednesday nights on Reality NSFW. If you want your rant, you come to me. Now, if you want more measured talk, there are other places you can go. But if you are outraged about what the fuck happened on Big Brother, you come to me. That's what people know, that I'm there on Wednesday nights. And I like it that way. So that's what I would say to aspiring podcasters. Your passion has to be there, number one. Make sure you're doing podcasting for the right reasons. And take a hard look at yourself. It's not wrong to say, hey, I was thinking about starting a podcast, but I decided that, maybe I wasn't doing it for the right reasons, or maybe it wasn't going to work out. There's no shame in that. Like, just there are plenty of podcasters in the world. We don't need another one if your heart isn't in it.
Great advice, my friend.
Thank you.
Great advice. All righty. So where can my audience find you? Find your podcast? Find you on social media?
Well, you can always find me at One Lucky Gay. That's one spelled out ONE. It's right under here, actually, on the video version of this podcast. I am, like I said, currently podcasting for Reality NSFW. That's Jonny Fairplay's network, and he gives me fair reign to do whatever I want with regard to Big Brother. I have chosen to podcast on Wednesday nights because that works with my work schedule. I still haven't decided if I'm going to podcast about Celebrity Big Brother. I feel like invariably I'm going to get drawn into it because Celebrity Big Brother is always really good. But I am enjoying my time off right now. Survivor's on right now. Obviously, there's no Big Brother, so I'm not currently podcasting. So I have nothing to plug in that respect. But you can always find me on Wednesday nights when Big Brother's on, whether it's Big Brother Canada or Big Brother USA. I love working with Bobby. It's been a lot of fun over the past year, and I hope to continue many more.
Please tell Jonny Fairplay and Bobby that I said hello.
I will.
I would love to meet them one of these days.
Yes. Anytime you want to come on, Jake, you can come on with us and talk about Big Brother.
Awesome. I may have to take up your offer on Celebrity.
I can't wait to see what they do with Celebrity. I hope it's because the last two celebrities have been so good. Like they've both been really, really good with people who are so fucking competitive and they wanted it. Like, I mean, that's what you want out of you don't want celebrities who don't give a shit. You want people that are in it to win it. That you want people who want the money. You know what I mean? You want them to be like you would be if you were on the show. And like watching Tamar, watching all of the people from last season, Ross and Marissa Jarrett Winokur, whatever. With Omarosa and the girl from the Philippines. I can't remember her name, but no, she wasn't from the Philippines. She was the girl who got Miss Colombia. Yes, she got crowned mistakenly instead of the other girl. Yes. Oh, yes. She was fabulous. I mean, like, it's just like we would never meet these people if not for Celebrity Big Brother. And the fact that we got to see them play that amazing game is so fucking cool. So I really hope that Celebrity Big Brother follows in the footsteps of the first two and has a rip-roaring cast with a very hard playing game.
I totally agree, my friend. And guys, if you missed any episode of the Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar podcast, visit our Apple Podcasts, Deezer, Google Podcasts, Podcast Addict, Spotify, and Spreaker pages. It's Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar, JACOBELYACHAR. Once again, JACOBELYACHAR. Are you on social media? Because I'm on social media too. So please subscribe to my social media channels with my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Jacob Elyachar, JACOBELYACHAR. And guys, jakestake.com is celebrating, the platform that all started it all, is celebrating its 10th anniversary this year.
That's awesome. Good for you, Jake. Round of applause.
And guys, you can catch my interview with Brent right on there because it was fabulous. And guys, if you're financially able to, please consider heading to PayPal to help keep jakestake.com and my platform up and running. If you're not, I totally get it. I totally understand. Please, a social media follow and a subscription would be perfect. So thank you guys very much, Brent. You were the perfect guest to bring on for this second year anniversary extravaganza. You are amazing, my friend. Thank you so much for always helping me and advising me when it comes to the podcast detail and when the Big Brother world comes crashing down on me.
Right? Well, thank you, Jake, and thank you for having me. It was an honor to be here, and I had a great time chatting with you.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for your consideration. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. Until then, have a great one, everybody. And here's to 2 more years.